If you have anything you want to ask me, just let me know.
Okay, I have 4 questions actually.
Okay.
So I've been working on the quiz and I've done it like 3 or 4 times now.
Okay.
But you know, whenever it says like g of x equals 2 and then it tells you to graph it
Okay.
or
Okay.
find something like that, I don't know.
So
But
let's say g of x equals, and then there will be some formula, right?
yes,
Uh,
so the question on the quiz it says for what value of x is g of x equals 2 and then it shows a graph.
mhm.
I was wondering, like, do I find 2 on the y-axis or do I find 2 on the x-axis?
Let me go find your quiz because I
Okay,
want to see what the what you're actually reading.
okay.
Um, but it won't take me long to do that. So let me go find it. So for your quiz, which question is that?
Number 7.
Okay, question 7. Okay, almost there. Okay, I see what you mean. All right, I'm looking at your quiz right now, your latest attempt at the quiz. It says, for what value of x is g of x equal to 2? Okay, um, so let me try to recreate that picture a little bit so I can explain it to you.
Okay.
And this is not that exact picture from your quiz, but it will be good enough for me to tell you what exactly is happening. Um, okay, so let's say that we have a graph, and what exactly the graph looks like doesn't really matter that much, okay? And let's say that you can look at the graph and you can identify some points on it, such as this point is 2 in for x and -5 for y. And all I mean there is that you go, when you're looking at the graph on my math lab, it's on graph paper. There's a grid, and you can count that this point would be like right 2 spaces and down 5. Now, I know my picture doesn't look to scale, but let's just say it's right 2 spaces down 5. That's where this point is. Okay, and we'll say like, maybe there's another point, like say this one, and it's 1 for x, 2 for y. Okay, so we've got this picture. That's what we're starting with, and that's all the information that we have. And it says, for what value of x is g of x equal to 2? All right, so that's what I'm seeing on that question that you're talking about on your quiz. Okay, so let's talk about how to answer it. And we use, this is called function notation, this right here, okay? But all functions are just x's and y's. That's all they are. Like when we have a graph, so think about it. What's a graph? A graph is an x paired together with a y. That's what a graph is. That's really all you can say about it. And a function is the same thing. It's just not a picture like a graph is. So when we look at function notation, then this number is the x and that number is the y, and they get paired together. So this question is saying, what x gets paired with y being 2? Now, so look at this picture. What's the x that gets paired with y being 2? Can you tell me now that you're looking at it?
1.
1, yeah. So it's if you know how to read all the symbols, it's pretty easy to do.
Okay, I
So,
understand that now.
yeah, but well, good. Okay, so I was hoping to make it look simple, but if you can, as we go through the class and maybe even as you look at some other things on the quiz and the test, all it is, like, no matter how weird it looks, it's just an x paired together with a y.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was question 7 on the quiz. And you said you had a few others, right?
I was wondering, so I don't know. It said whenever you find the domain of a square root, how do you know if if it's negative infinity or is it positive? Or
It's
does it?
just if it's based on whether you end up with a greater than or a less than.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to, I can make up an example real quick to show you.
Yes,
Would you
please.
like that?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say, what's the domain of f of x equals root, let's do like 4 minus 2x. Okay. All right. So yes, you saw something like that on the quiz. I think that's what you have in mind.
Yes.
So the way we start this off is, well, the domain is based on how that formula is supposed to work, like this root 4 minus 2x. And the way that that's supposed to work is that thing under the root needs to be a positive number. If you get your calculator right now and you put root and then a negative number, it won't give you an answer. So we need that number to be positive. So we'll say, okay, I need that thing in there. I need that to be a positive number. That's the way that it is. So I'll set it up like this in order for that to happen. I'll say I need 4 minus 2x, 4 minus 2x to be greater than 0. Because a positive number, if I need this to be positive, then that means I need this to be greater than 0. Positive numbers are more than 0. And so from here, we'll solve that. So we can go like this. We can say 4 is greater than 2x. If I add 2x to both sides of the inequality, and then I'll divide both sides by 2. So I get like this. Okay. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2, so I'll get this. Okay. So here's what I was initially trying to tell you when you mentioned this question. I have to interpret this with that symbol, that greater than symbol right there. It says x, okay, let's think about it like this. The inequality always opens to the bigger number, okay? So when we look at this inequality, I think that 2 right there is bigger than the x. So that means the x is less than 2. That's how to read this. So the domain is that the x has to be less than 2. That's how we read this. X has to be less than 2. So where are all the numbers that are less than 2? Think about it if you had the number line. Okay, so here's the number line right there. And say here's 2 on the number line. Here's infinity out here. And here's negative infinity out there. Okay, so it says the domain is that the x has to be less than 2. Well, where are all the numbers on this picture less than 2? They're right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, going to the negative side, right? So if it helps to visualize it, like I drew the number line, I put a blue circle around it, then, okay, that's it. It's negative infinity to 2. So here's my answer. The domain is negative infinity to 2. There we go. Now, so yeah, whether it's negative infinity or infinity just depends on reading this in terms of less than or greater than. If this had been going the other way, if that inequality symbol was going the other direction, then it would be opposite. It would be 2 to infinity. Okay, so that would touch on what you were asking about a little bit. There, you might have some more concerns about that question, or maybe we need to look at another example. Just let me know. How does that sound?
No, that's good. I understand it now.
Okay, so I think you said you had 4 questions total. Is that right?
I have one more, but somebody else can go if they need to.
Well, let me get an idea of what everybody needs to do, and then we'll see.
Okay.
So, so Selma, you have one more, and I had Lazidma. You were able to join us. I think you were the second person here. Can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. So I'm just trying to get a feel for what everybody wanted to ask about. So did you have something from the quiz you wanted to talk about? Question about the test? Did you just want to see what other people wanted to ask about? Just let me know.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, I guess just kind of review. And then I was just wondering, are we able to, like some of the rules, like when it came to, like the square root couldn't be 0, or the fraction, the fraction couldn't be divided by 0 or something like that. Are we able to maybe have like notes written down for some of the rules or something for the test, or we just have to keep, put everything away and take the test?
Well, so let me show you something real quick. So and this is, I would say this to everybody in the class, all right? Be sure that you read the course information. So I'm going to share my screen for just a second. It's going to look a little bit strange. But say that right now you should be able to see Blackboard. Correct? Can you?
Yes.
See? Okay. So I open this course information, and I want everybody to look at this and read every single part of it. So if I open that, here it is. Okay. It has a little bit of information about me. It has the calendar of due dates, and it has everything that I need everybody to know. But if you go to item 16, there's what materials are allowed on the test. You can use any notes you want on your test and any calculator you want. So yeah, you can put some notes together.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I
you
might
can
have
put formulas and
forgot about that part.
And so on. Yeah, so
Thank you.
Just want to take a chance to remind everybody that I can about that with the test getting closer. But if you hadn't looked at that, go ahead and do it, because there's a few other things about the quizzes and the assignments and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. So if you want to jump in and ask something else, just let me know.
Okay, no. Okay, thank you.
All right. So Jose, I think you were the third person to join. Just want to make sure you can see me and hear me okay, and I want to see if you have anything to ask. And if you can't get your microphone to work, then you can type me a message over on the right-hand side of the page. So Jose, I don't know if you're trying to talk to me or not. I don't hear anything, but you can use the chat box over there. And if you send me a message, I'll get a notification and I'll read it. You could type whatever you wanted to ask in there if you can't get your microphone to work. Okay, so let's go back to Selma. So you said you had one more question that you wanted to ask.
Yes, it's with the difference quotient. I just get like really confused whenever it's like x squared plus 2x minus 1 or something like that. I just wanted, could you like work through an example or something?
Sure. So that one you mentioned would be a good one to do, I think. So let's say f of x is x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay, so that'd be a good one to try to do. So, all right, the difference quotient is this. Meaning that we'll just need to work this out as far as we can. And each part of this is different. There's three things. There's this f of x plus h, there's f of x, and then there's h. There's three things to work through together. So first of all, I like to encourage people to think of the function like this. You see the x there. What is the x? What purpose does it serve? Well, a function is a formula, and we plug numbers and other things into formulas. And the x is where you plug things in. So instead of saying x squared plus 2x minus 1, I think sometimes it's better to think of the x as just like an empty spot where you plug in some kind of number. So this is like the input squared plus 2 times the input minus 1. So if anything gets plugged into this formula, it goes in these empty places. So this deal right here, f of x plus h, the x plus h is what's getting plugged into that, meaning it goes here and here, okay? And I think that's one thing that students get confused about when they see this type of problem, but there it is. All right, that's how it's going to be done. So let me write that out. That would be, let's see, I'll use two colors just to make sure that everybody sees it. Okay, so there is me putting the x plus h into that formula. X plus h squared plus 2 times x plus h minus 1. Okay, so that would take care of this part. Then it says minus. See that minus right there? So then I put the minus. And then it says minus and f of x. F of x is this original formula. Okay, so let's see. That original formula is x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay, now this minus, that subtraction, applies to this formula, that the whole thing right there. So I need to put like brackets or parentheses so that this minus, which is here, applies to that whole thing. All right? Okay. So there, I've got the whole problem written down at this point. All I have to do now is reduce it all. For example, I have to do this squaring. I have to multiply by the 2. This subtraction, as I was just mentioning, has to apply all the way through here. Okay, so I've got to do all that. Now, I'm going to just go through and do this, and then if at some point we get stuck, you can just interrupt me, and I can explain a little bit more about what I'm doing, or you can wait till we're all finished. But let's see, how do you square? How do you do x plus h squared?
FOIL.
Let's see. FOIL, yeah, exactly. So I would do x plus h times x plus h with FOIL, okay? If you do that, you'll get x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Okay, that's how that will work out. So I did that. All right, there it is. So next, what about the 2? I mean, there's a procedure for everything. In the 2 in parentheses x plus h, what's happening there is we distribute the 2. Everything over here in that parentheses gets multiplied by 2. So, all right, that would be what? 2x plus 2h. Okay, so far I've done this squaring by FOIL. All right, I've multiplied through here by 2. Okay, And then this minus 1, there's at this moment nothing to do with that all by itself. I'll just carry it down. Next, this minus, as I said when I wrote these brackets right there, that minus applies to all of this, whatever that is. So it applies all the way through here. So again, it's like that minus distributes. You know, it's like multiplying everything in there times -1. Think of it like that if you want to. So I would get negative x squared minus 2x and then plus 1. All right. And then that's all over h. There's nothing I can do with that h yet. It's just all by itself. It doesn't have anything around it. At this point, the most I can do is just carry it down. Okay. All right. So now we have this. Now when we're learning algebra, this is just the way it is. We'll have to work through problems and ask ourselves at each step if we can do something else. So if I'm here, then I need to think, well, is there anything I can do with all that stuff? I did the squaring and I did the multiplying. Now, given that I'm here, what can I do? Well, some of the terms cancel. Like I'll try to color code it because sometimes like we can make a mistake looking at things, but this x squared, I'll put a green dot above it, will cancel with that minus x squared. Okay. What else? Okay, the 2x. I'll put an orange dot above that. That'll cancel with minus 2x. Okay, anything else? That -1, I'll put a red dot above that. That'll cancel with the 1. So that's a way for me to write it down and help everybody keep track of it. Okay. Now you can look at all the other terms. I don't see anything else that will cancel. Okay, the greens will cancel with each other, the oranges and the reds will cancel. But that's all I'm seeing. So say that we did that. Okay, so say in other words, let's see, I'll cross them out. Say cancel, 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 cancel. There. Okay, so all that stuff canceled, and there's not a whole lot left then. I'm going to write down what's left, and I'm going to decide what to do next after that. So what's left? 2xh, h squared, and then 2h. All right, that's everything. And it's all still divided by h. Okay. Now, once again, we have to ask ourselves if there's anything that we can do at this point. Is there anything else we can do? And here we're dividing, and then there's some canceling that can be done by dividing. Okay. The way that you'll need to think about this at this step that I'm in right here is that when I've got like all these numbers up here, 2xh plus h squared plus 2h, and it's divided by h, what that means is that each of these are individually divided by h. I'd like to write that out rather than just say it to make sure that everybody knows what I mean. You see this? I'm saying that this term gets divided by h all by itself, and then this one does. Okay, right here, and then this one does. All right, okay, so what can we do there? Well, there's some more canceling that happens, okay? For example, let's see, h divided by h cancels. And again, h divided by h cancels. H squared divided by h cancels also, but it leaves me behind an h, okay? So that's what's left there. Okay, and then I think that's everything. Let's look at it. After canceling, I'll get 2x. I'll get plus h, and then I'll get plus 2. That's it. There's nothing else to cancel, nothing else to multiply or add at this point. There in the box, you see, that's the final answer. Okay. So that's the breakdown I would give you for this problem. Somebody could definitely do this faster than I just did it. If you don't think that you need to show this many steps and color code it, that's perfectly fine. I was just hoping that I could show you in a way that allowed you to see all the important steps. All right. Okay, Selma, so that's one of those worked all the way through. I'm just curious if I touched on what you needed to see about that, or if you
Yes,
have any questions.
I
That looks,
understand it now, but does the order matter in my math lab, or like does it need to be in a specific order?
no, it doesn't matter. Like, could you write this answer? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any difference at all.
Okay.
Because it's just, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it because it's reminding me of something else I need to say. You know, why doesn't it matter? Well, because the order you add numbers doesn't matter. What's 7 plus 3? Well, it's 10. What's 3 plus 7? It's also 10. You get the same thing when you add things together. So that's why it doesn't matter. But let's say that my math lab counted it wrong. Okay, because my math lab is a computer and it doesn't think. It just compares what you type in with what it thinks the answer is. If my math lab counts something wrong and you don't think it's actually wrong, or maybe you made a typo or something, then mention it to me because I'll go in and look at it. And if I judge it to be correct, then I'll change the score. I'll count it correct. Okay. So let's see, I think somebody wrote me a message there. Oh, good. All right. I'm glad I could answer a question for you too. Lizidma, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes,
I tried
you
my
are.
best. Okay, good.
You are.
Well, I'm
Thank
glad I was able to answer a question for you too. All right. Now I think I got all of Selma's questions. If that's not true, then let me know, Selma, and we can take more.
No, I'm good now. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad I could help you. And any other questions about we did a few from the quiz just now, but we could talk about if you had any concerns about the actual test. We talked about that you could use notes. You can use it with whatever calculator you have. I'll be posting some more instructions about the test this afternoon, and I'll send those out to everybody. And then after you read that, we can talk again on Monday or Tuesday if you have any questions about the test procedure. So let me know if you can think of anything else.
Nothing else for me. Thank you very much for the review.
Okay, I'm glad I could help you. If you're doing the quiz this weekend and you run into anything, let me know. We'll talk about it on Monday.
Okay.
I can set one of these up anytime anybody needs help. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Lizidma, you're in good shape. Selma,
Yes.
you're in good shape too.
Yes, thank you.
All right, well, I'm glad y'all could join. I can't think of anything else I have to tell you right now. Like I said, I'm going to send out an email this afternoon with some more information about the test. Just be looking for that. But I think that's all I need to tell you. Please, if you're working the quizzes, I was just looking and I saw somebody had done the quiz 5 times. That's exactly what I would recommend. Just keep working the quiz because that's how you're going to get good at the test. Just keep doing it and you'll get good at it and you'll get a good grade on the test. So if you keep working the quiz this weekend and you get stuck, you have a question, let me know and I'll set something up on Monday and we can go over it. All right. Well, okay, everybody. So I'm going to let you go now, but you know where to find me if you need any help. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.